Well, here I go, dropping what I know, taking my audible time, busting around for the holla ho. So, listen up, my local bro, as I get my point across. Are we living in a paradise on the brink of being lost to the man? Don't you understand? The same man who stole the blacks from their motherland. So you can take my house, take my car, and try to take my name, but the blood that flows through these veins will always be the same.
Aloha, it's January 4th and we're here in front at the corner of Punch Bowl and Beretania in front of the state capitol, and also on that direction is the Department of Land and Natural Resources in the state building. And this particular, the reason we're here this morning is to actually help to support and to call attention to the fact that there are a number of Hawaiian nationals and Native Hawaiians who are being prosecuted for minor infractions of new rules and regulations that the Department of Land and Natural Resources have made up in order to suppress our voices, in order to prevent us from speaking out regarding the fake state and the occupation of Hawaii. And as you can see behind me, we have a demonstration going. We have a number of people who are here to support us. There are many others who couldn't come this morning, but the idea is that the Department of Land and Natural Resources is really overstepping its police powers. It really is like an illegal fourth police force. And so they are not only hassling people on Iolani Palace grounds, which Kahumoku Flores experienced, where he had his tent confiscated on September 2nd for protecting the tent was over a display of Lili'uokalani, pictures and some archival things, and the tent was put up so that it was protected from the elements. The Department of Land and Natural Resources said that there is a rule against putting up tents on the grounds of Iolani Palace, that you have to secure a permit first, and this is and so they took the tent. So as we speak, Kahumoku is over at the courthouse because his hearing is today. That's one incident. The other people who are here are Mike and Sylvia Kopp, who own a hula supply center, who have been gathering ili, small smooth pebbles used for hula implements at a beach on Maui for over 40 years. Their business has been to gather these so that they can be acquired by hula practitioners. A lot of kumu hulas and most of the hula community know of the service that is provided. Well, they had 2 years ago, 2008, they had their ili confiscated by the Department of Land and Natural Resources, and they were informed at that point that there was a law on the books, or actually some regulation, Department of Land and Natural Resources, that prohibits the gathering of ili stones without a permit. And here's where the catch-22 comes in, and that is there's no way you can acquire a permit. And they were fined, and they had the ili stones confiscated. And but it didn't end there, because they contested the case. Their contesting of the case was to question the jurisdiction of the Department of Land and Natural Resources and the state of Hawaii. What they wanted was for the DLNR and the state to prove that they had authority to enforce laws on Hawaiian Kingdom lands, or Hawaiian national lands, over Hawaiian nationals. Sylvia and Mike are actually citizens of the Hawaiian Kingdom. And even though they're not Hawaiian, but they're citizens nonetheless. Anyway, so they've claimed that their rights as Hawaiian nationals, as citizens of the Hawaiian Kingdom, have been violated by the DLNR because the DLNR has no jurisdiction over this land. The DLNR simply refused to prove that they have any jurisdiction, meaning they can't produce any evidence that says that they have jurisdiction or authority or even ownership of this land of Hawaii. So the case actually ended there because the DLNR failed to prove it had jurisdiction. If you don't have jurisdiction and you can't prove it, then you can't actually fine or prosecute people for breaking some kind of regulation that you had made up. Anyway, so it was supposed to end there, but the U.S. District Court stepped in when the notice was filed that the case had ended, called a notice of estoppel. When that was filed by Sylvia and Mike Kopp and the Attorney General for the Hawaiian Kingdom, the U.S. District Court then took the case and they deliberately conspired to change the case into a complaint. So it was changed from a notice of estoppel to the district court, the U.S. District Court, and the U.S. District Court judges then falsified the documents, changing the signatures, or actually taking the signature from another document, Mike and Sylvia Kopp's signatures, and placing it on a new document that they had totally contrived by themselves. So what they have done is really they've committed fraud in order to kill this case. The thing is, that was a big mistake on their part, because for the judiciary to commit fraud by falsifying documents itself is now a major case, and it now has a complaint, a real complaint has been filed now before the 9th Circuit Court, which is the Court of Appeals over the Hawaii District. And so it's literally one step away from the Supreme Court. And this particular complaint actually accuses or charges the judges as well as the clerks of the U.S. District Court for Hawaii for fraud and for conspiring to violate the civil rights of Mike and Sylvia Kopp. So it's now turned into a federal case because the federal government itself was trying to somehow preserve the jurisdiction or the claim of jurisdiction of the state of Hawaii. So it's blown up into a really big case. Although what we're trying to do is call the media attention to this case as well as to Kahumoku's case, as well as to the various violations and bullying tactics and of law enforcement of the DLNR, or regulations enforcement from the DLNR, of cases up in Kaena Point and Mokuleia, where Native Hawaiian fishermen and their families have been threatened at gunpoint to stop fishing in those areas because somehow the DLNR has passed some new regulation that prevents subsistence fishing. And so this is another ridiculous use of, and abuse of police power by the DLNR. So we are here today to call attention to this and to notify the state that they're not going to get away with this anymore, that we're going to continue to press these for these cases, and particularly those cases that are being used or being shown to be questioning the Department of Land and Natural Resources authority and jurisdiction in Hawaii. So mahalo no.
Oh, mahalo. Okay. If they want to know any more information, is there any way that they can reach you, or some kind of email or site they can go to?
Actually, the site is not up yet, but we are going to be putting it up. Meanwhile, I can be reached by phone, 488-4669, and my email address is leon@hits.net, leon@hits.net. Mahalo.
Well, here I go, dropping what I know, taking my audible time, busting a rhyme for the holla ho. So, listen up, my local bro, as I get my point across. Are we living in a paradise on the brink of being lost to the man? Don't you understand? The same man who stole the blacks from their motherland. So you can take my house, take my car, and try to take my name, but the blood that flows through these veins will always be the same.